Some of us are uniquely gifted to create amazing things, but we're afraid to put it out there. Hey guys, welcome back to JL Studios. My name is Jeslyn Loretta, and today we are talking about common misconceptions about visual artists. So, as I mentioned earlier, this channel is all about the visual arts. I am an emerging artist, and I am within my journey as an artist pursuing this thing called art, pursuing this thing called an art career, and I am just sharing little tips along the way with you all in case they are useful to you. One of the interesting things about being an artist is the fact that once people, realize that you're an artist, there are often misconceptions about you as a person based on society's expectation of what an artist is. I feel like we're not always represented in the media, and so when we are represented, it can be in such a way that creates the misperceptions that I often kind of hear when people interact with me. So the first misconception is that we all have the same style or ability. Now, what I mean by this is there are artists who can literally replicate anything that they see. They could paint a portrait of you right, within person within an hour. They could draw a drawing of you and it's going to look exactly like you. There will be no question that it is you. And then there are artists who cannot do that. There are artists who, if they would do a portrait of you, it would look more stylistic and less like you. It would still look like a person, but more like maybe a cartoon or maybe just a stylized version of you. And then there are artists who don't do people at all, and they don't do realism. They're abstract artists. And then there are sculptors. So there's just an array of different types of artists, and we don't all have the same skills. So the word artist is really broad, and there are so many different people that belong under this title, and we all do different things. Our gifts are all different. We can't all, replicate something exactly as it is. And I feel like because there's so much amazement for that and a lot of value for that, there's often this perception that, oh, you all know how to do this. And in reality, it's like, some of us kind of don't. And it doesn't make us any less of an artist because we don't do art in a specific manner. The second misconception is that we are all eccentric. On TV, there's this stereotypical image of us where we're just painting and we're just in this, zone of like just artistic creation and inspiration and all of that. The reality is when we make work, a lot of us actually plan it out over a span of time. We could be wrestling with an idea for weeks before we even put it onto maybe a canvas, or before we even go into the ceramic studio, or before we even go, to animate or create a video. We're wrestling with these concepts, and then we're putting the ideas together and planning them, and then we're executing them into the artwork that you see. So it's not always a sporadic, spur of the moment thing. I think some artists work that way, and that is just their preference, and that's the way that they work, and that's great. But do not be fooled. A lot of us are planning our art. It takes a lot of thought, consideration, and planning to execute art. And while it would be beautiful to always just be able to come up with things on a whim, a lot of people don't work that way, and a lot of artists don't actually work that way. The third misconception about artists is that we are eccentric. So again, the stereotype, like we dress crazy, we have our hair in this really eccentric, unique way, we talk differently, and we're just these like complete outcasts who don't even fit into society. And I feel like that couldn't be further from the truth. In all actuality, I've heard another artist say this, that we're like superheroes or Clark Kent, in the sense that you don't even know that we're artists. when you see us. We just look like regular people, and your neighbor could be an artist, your roommate or your classmate or your coworker could be an artist, and you would never know. And even when we exhibit our work as visual artists, you don't always see the artist next to the work. So you could be in a crowd of people in a gallery and never even know that the artist is right next to you. So there's like this mysterious, anonymous aspect of being an artist. And I think that's why many of us tend to be introverts because one, you have to spend a lot of time creating art, and most of the time it takes solitude to do it. Two, you kind of like artists, secret superheroes. So the fourth misconception is that because we can create art, it is always easy. I had a conversation with someone before and they asked me like, how is it, creating art? They wanted to know more about, how it felt to be an artist. And I was like, well, I mean, sometimes it feels like work, you're planning, you're executing, you're in the mode and you're creating things for, shows that you want to be a part of. And it isn't always like this fun and like easy thing. There are processes to it. There are parts that I struggle with in my work when I'm producing an art piece. And I have to go over it over and over until I get that right. So it doesn't always come easy. We really do have to work at it, just like, you have to work at anything else. And just because we're artistically gifted doesn't mean that everything that we do comes easy, or that like our projects take no effort or time and that we're never frustrated. I've been frustrated probably on almost every single painting that I've made, because there's always a part that's like just not right, just not going there, just not it. And then once I get past that part, it's like, okay, whew, I'm over this hurdle and I can keep going and going and going. So it isn't always easy, but we do it anyway. The fifth misconception about artists is that we all do commission work. Not every artist is comfortable with commissions or making money or creating projects that other people desire to be made. I feel like that's definitely a gifting to be able to envision what the other person wants and what the other person would love to see. And we don't all like that. Some of us are like, no, I like making work that I envision or create, or work that I'm passionate about, and it takes a lot of time out of your other projects, and the money offered isn't always equivalent to the time given to the project. And so not every artist wants commissions. Some artists just, want to exhibit. These are the 5 misconceptions that I thought of. If you have any other misconceptions, if you're an artist and you've run into different things that people have thought, feel free to share them below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, whatever. And I will see you all next time. Bye.